Steve was in his room relaxing when his friend walked in with a portrait. Steve found out that his friend Damian just purchased a portrait for a girl he knows fully well that he likes, breaking the bro code. Soon a fight ensues between them, but to understand what is actually going on, let's go back to a few weeks ago. Two friends, Lily and Alero, were two freshmen in their university. They both were worried about their forthcoming exams, knowing fully well that they are not all that smart. Then they sought for a way by meeting a guy called Damian to help them write their exams for a fee. Standing by a car were two friends, Damian and Steve. Steve is the one with the vibes, while Damian just like to play good boy and the smart one too. The two girls approached them and asked to speak with Damian, but Steve has this bad habit of always impersonating Damian, though Damian just lets him. He did the same thing today because he likes one of the girls and wants to get to know her. But Damian, on the other hand, wasn't smiling with them at all. He insisted that they either pay him 150k or go and read for their exams, while Steve just charged them 50k. Lily found that so rude as she talked with Alero, but Alero thought maybe he could make an exception if Lily could talk to him for 100k. But never. That rude guy, I can't, she said. Don't worry, I'll just read for my exams. Are you serious? Though Damian warned Steve about the risks of always impersonating him. He says he likes the girl and wants to use that as a means to get to know her. Suit yourself. While Alera was busy reading, Lily was living a free life, since she doesn't have to read to pass her exams. At the day of the exam, Damian arrived at Alera's class, obviously to write for someone else who paid in full. As the exam started, Damian, being the smart one, finished ahead of time and offered to help Alero, but she refused, though it's clear she's struggling. After the exam, they met again and Alero was shocked to find out that he's actually the real Damian. Damian took her out to get a drink and there they talked about a few things. Just then a call came in and the two had to leave in a hurry. Lily just found out Steve was all along impersonating Damian, and now they both are in serious trouble. Steve got caught writing her exams. Jeez. Lily doesn't look too bothered about it because her parents were inside pleading on her behalf. Mr. and Mrs. Oba, Lily's parents, are one of the most respected members of the board since they have donated so much money for the establishment of that institution. Therefore, the school has created an exception for her daughter in this case and forgave her, while Steve, well, he's on his own. Damian and Alera arrived. Just then, Lily's parents also came out, but Lily wasn't scared since she knows her parents' position in the school, and it seems this isn't her first time, neither will it be her last. Now Lily is free. What happens to Steve? Damian went after them, pleading on his friend's behalf that they should help him since it's his first time being caught and his parents are very poor, and it will be very disastrous if they find out about this or if he gets expelled. In all this, Lily's parents weren't moved. They just said their hands were tied and they left despite his continuous pleading. Steve cried and regretted his actions. Now he's definitely going to be expelled. Damian cheered him up not to lose hope. Lily's mom confronted her and scolded her about her grades and wayward lifestyle, but she just walked away, not caring a damn about what she said. Can you imagine this girl? She said to her visitor. Meanwhile, Alera somehow was able to get an A in her last exam. Good thing Damian offered to tutor her and buffer up her grades weeks ago, and now she's better than she had ever been. Since Alera's mom were friends with Lily's mom and she was present when Alera's mom was scolding her daughter for her bad grades. So while talking, Alera's mom mentioned about Damian and how he has been a great influence on her daughter, both in character and in her grades. Just then, Lily's mom remembered when he introduced himself the previous day and immediately got an idea. She requested to see Damian and asked him to transform her daughter's grades, just as he did to Alera. Damian before now dislikes the sight of Lily because of her arrogant attitude, and that instance he rejected the offer, not until she offered to give him anything he wants. Anything? So he asked for his friend's freedom and all the charges against him by the school be dropped. She immediately agreed to it since her family literally built that institution through their donations and they would do anything for them, but under the condition that Lily's grades changed before a month or the deal is over. Also, he has to keep this whole conversation a secret. Not even Lily should hear about this. Damian, determined to free his friend, took the challenge. Some days later, he found her drunk one night close to her lodge and helped her in, though she kept asking him to let her down and leave her alone. Alera was surprised but didn't think much of it until the next morning. It seems Damian had slept at their living room, and when he came to say good morning, he offered to make them breakfast. They both were surprised. Damian was the last person Lily would ever want to be friends with because of the way he talked to her the first time they met. Breakfast is ready, but Lily was not in the mood to eat, asking him to leave her alone and go away. Damian was also stubborn enough and refused to leave until she eats her food, leaving her no choice. Over the days, Damian made Lily's business his. He often asked about her from Alera, making her a bit jealous. She tried to tell him how she feels about him, but holds it back at the last minute. From making her a feeding timetable to giving her his number and asking her to ask for anything, and constantly checking up on her until the day he came back with a portrait, just like the beginning of the movie. That day, Steve was feeling hopeless that he's going to be rusticated and at the same time going to be far away from his crush when he stood up and found the portrait, and he became very angry cause this against broke code. Soon things escalated and Steve punched Damian in the face and wrestled him to the floor. But in all this, Damian didn't tell him the whole thing, remembering the deal he had with Lily's mom. Speaking of the portrait, Lily was so mad he stood around her, and also that he caught her something so cheap. But while she was ranting, Alera was sad because she likes Damian, and since they had been together, he had never gotten her something like this. Feeling jealous, she stepped out for a walk. That night, Steve wanted to act fast before he loses her completely and went shopping for her. At her place, Steve wasn't able to meet Lily and had to drop the gift with her neighbor, Chioma. Later, when Lily returned, Chioma delivered the package to her, but seemed to have forgotten the sender's name. Lily thought since Damian has refused to let her be, that maybe it's him. When she opened it thinking it's another cheap gift, she was shocked to see an expensive Gucci bag in it. She immediately went straight to Damian's place to say a big thank you and kissed him. Just then, Steve walked in, catching them in the act. This is wrong, bro. Lily was so happy and told Alera about the expensive gift he got from Damian, but this made her even more jealous and angry. It seems the way to Lily's heart is by buying her expensive gifts, because from that day, she started seeking attention from him, asking him to massage her, but instead, he booked her a section to get one the next day at his spa. While they had lunch one day, they talked about some stuffs, and something led Damian to say that he's not interested in anyone. This made Lily mad because by now she's beginning to like him. Finding out that he doesn't like her devastated her, so she left. Now Steve has already left the apartment, but Damian has to continue this to get his friend out of trouble. In order to keep the tight relationship going, Damian came over to apologize for yesterday and was able to convince her to forgive him with his sweet words. Also, he was able to convince her to do something for him, have a study section with him. She later agreed to it, but she's really far behind in class and has no study materials. While they studied, Lily, being the lady we know, preferred to play with her phone and take pictures of him. He's so cute. This made Damian angry and he shouted at her, but he had to apologize that it wasn't intentional. Right then, Alera walked in on them. She was clearly jealous that Lily always gets the best things in life. Anywhere Steve meets Damian, he acts like he doesn't know him, remembering he betrayed him, and all attempts to get him to forgive him was futile, even when he paid for his meals for a week. As Alera and Lily were chilling in their room, Lily opened up to her that she's in love with Damian. Alera wasn't happy to hear this. She tried to make her think maybe it's not love, maybe it's something else or something like that. But she knows what she feels. How I wish she opened up to Damian earlier about her feelings. All this wouldn't have been happening now. As they studied day after day, they began to bond with each other, and it's becoming a great influence on Lily. One certain evening, Alera walked in on Lily reading. What? Lily reading? This is unbelievable. All thanks to Damian. When she starts talking about Damian and how much she loves him, Alero became jealous again and left her alone. Back at home, Lily still continued to study her books to the amazement of her mom, and she ran to call her husband. This is unbelievable. From reading to play fighting with pillows, they were gradually turning into a perfect couple, and now Damian is beginning to feel something special for Lily. Again, Steve refused to speak with Damian on his way to the Vice Chancellor's office. Today he got the news that the board has decided to forgive him and pardon him since it is his first time. Steve was so happy and thanked him so much. Outside the office, he met Damian and he congratulated him and said he knows about it, but not to worry. Soon Steve remembered he betrayed him and just walked away from him. Lily has been trying to reach Damian over and over, but he refused to pick her calls since he has gotten what he wanted. There is no need continuing this, so he wanted to break up with her. He wants to end things with Lily, but his heart doesn't want the same, because by this time he's beginning to have feelings for her. Lily came over to know why he has been ignoring her calls. Then he told her it's over. She became sad instantly and walked away. Also, Damian cried as she left. Lily soon went into depression and drank a lot till she became unconscious. Good thing Alero came in and called her parents to help her take her to the hospital. Damian met Steve and told him the whole truth of how Lily's mom made him improve Lily's grades in exchange of his freedom. He was shocked. "You did this for me?" he said, and they settled their issues and had an understanding. Damian came back the next day to meet Lily's parents at his place. He was filled with anger. He lashed on them, not minding the age difference. He called them the worst parents who would prefer to shift their responsibilities to someone else, not minding his feelings and all they made him go through. Lily's mom was sorrowful and instantly burst into tears and left with her husband without saying a word. Steve requested he hear them out first and at least know why they came in the first place, why they pondered on what Damian just said to them. Damian and Steve came to meet them. They told them that Lily was hospitalized and now she has locked herself inside her room, refusing to eat or talk to anyone except Damian. Damian was shocked and looked concerned, so he decided to go with them to speak with Lily himself. Immediately Lily heard his voice. She opened the door and hugged him and asked him to forgive her if she did anything wrong in the past and accept her back. "It's okay now," he said. After this, they made up. The following day, while Damian was speaking with Lily, they both got a message from Alero and Steve asking them to meet up with them. Alero confessed to having feelings for Damian in the past, and Steve also confessed to having feelings for Lily also. But since they are both together now, they have their support 100%. But still in all this, Lily still doesn't know how Damian suddenly developed interest for her. So she asked him, and Damian told her how her mom asked him to tutor her in exchange for Steve's freedom. Lily was mad at first, but on the other hand, if her mom didn't do this, she might not have gotten a chance to get close to Damian. So let's call it a win-win, she said. Love has always been an amazing feeling, and that is how I feel about you all my subscribers. Even if you haven't subscribed, I also love you, and I believe you'll find a place in your heart to love me back by subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. Also like and comment. Thanks for watching Movie Exploits. Gotcha.